This is Laricy Live, and I'm your host, Matt Laricy. We're giving you unfiltered access to the world of real estate, where we can cover the market trends, news, and honest answers to keep you ahead of the real estate game. Laricy Live is brought to you by Lincoln Title. Lincoln Title is the best and most efficient title company in Chicago and is the best place to close your property. This podcast is brought to you by Titan Builders. Titan Builders have been remodeling condos and homes in the Chicagoland area for over 35 years. Whether it's remodeling your kitchen or bathroom or getting your home ready for sale, Mike and Mark are your go-to guys. Laricy Live is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate and Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen is the #1 lender in Illinois and can close your loan in as fast as 8 days. All right, so today we are here to talk about deal season. It is the season of deals. For everybody out there that tells me like, well, I want to get a good deal, or like, hey, I'd like to get something that's like, priced under market, if you know what I mean. It's like, okay, well, if that's your mentality, if your mentality is that you want a good deal, now's the time to buy. Right now. Right now is the time to buy. I don't want to hear that you want a good deal in March, because let me tell you something right now. You cannot get a good deal in March. You want a good deal, you buy in Q4, okay? You want to overpay for something, you buy in Q1. It's just the way it works. I can't do anything about it. So, let's talk a little bit about this. Why is now the best time of year to buy? What makes this deal season? Well, there's this old law, okay? It's now I didn't create this law. I've said this numerous times. I went to Eastern Illinois University, and I think I averaged C's and D's. I'm not what I would call an intellectual or intelligent academic type of person. I usually lean more on the dumb side. I think I got a 20 on my ACT. Might have been a 21, but I mean, let's face it, guys. Those are not strong numbers if you are good at education. But what I can tell you is one thing that I've read through the grapevine is that there's this thing called supply and demand, okay? And if you have excess supply and low demand, prices go down, okay? And if you have a lot of demand and low supply, prices go up. It's crazy how it works, but it's one of the oldest laws known to man. And I will tell you, in Q4, which also encompasses holiday season, which we'll get in depth about, we see a lot of good deals. The reason being is that we have more supply and less demand. It's just the way it is. You have to remember, not a lot of people want to move during holiday season. A lot of people travel during holiday season. A lot of people are just busy, right? Holiday party, I'm going to visit a friend, I got this going on, I got that going on. So, and the thought of being like, hey, I think I'm going to buy is not the first thing that comes to their mind. At the same time, demand usually, or supply usually grows. Here's why. You got all the people in the summer who came on overpriced. They said, well, hey, my neighbor John came on at $550,000 and sold at $600,000 because it got multiple bids, blah, blah, blah. So John came on in April at $550,000, okay, worth $550,000. Okay, John gets bid up to $600,000 because it's like the hottest time of the year. So somebody buys it at $600,000. Then the seller A comes on the market. It's like, well, John sold at $600,000. He comes on in July at $625,000 because he's like, my place is nicer than John's. Now remember, guys, the place is only worth $550,000. One guy overbid for it for $600,000. So then seller A comes on at $625,000. He doesn't sell. August hits. He drops down to $600,000. He's like, no, I'm at the same price as John. But remember, guys, now we're in August, which is kind of a crappy month. He's at $600,000, which is still high because remember, price is $550,000. And then, we hit September, and then he drops down to $575,000, okay? And then now we're in November, and he's like, okay, let's go to $550,000, which is where John originally listed to begin with back in April. So prices just reset in the fourth quarter. So when I say it's deal season, I'm not saying like you're getting it's not like now the place was worth $550,000, you're getting it for $500,000. I'm just saying that, like, listen, it got a bid up to $600,000. You don't have to pay $600,000. You could maybe get it for $540,000. And because of that, because a lot of sellers think like that in July and August when they list, their inventory sticks for longer. And we see more price cuts. So then consumers that are looking at the marketplace, like, holy shit, these prices are falling, right? They're like, these prices are falling so fast, I don't know what to do. What's going on out there, Matt? Prices are dropping. And then what happens, guys? The fall buying mentality takes off. They said to me, well, you know what? All I see is price cuts, Matt. That's all I see. So next year, 25,
is going to be the year the market fails, because I'll tell you right now, I've seen a lot of price cuts. That's all I've seen. Nothing but price cuts. The market's failing, right? Isn't that what everybody says? And I tell you, I'm like, listen, slow down. Just slow down a minute, all right? Pump the brakes. Let's pump them. It's not prices are falling. It's just that you had a bunch of overpriced sellers who are now doing a death by 1,000 cuts, and the market's just resetting itself to go back to normal. So what happens in Q4, even though I call this deal season, is that prices reset. You can't get, you can't overpay that much, and if you're a seller, you can't overask that much, because the buyers are a little bit more savvy with buying, and they're a little bit less trigger happy than you'd see somebody in Q1. Now we got a little bit of a gas leak going on outside the office here, guys. So if you hear some people going crazy, we're going to have to talk even louder over these construction guys. We have a lot of gas leaks. We have a lot of... I will tell you, I got to tell a good story then, okay? Even though this is deal season, I got to tell a story about this gas leak. The other day we had a gas leak in the office, and the fire department came because the people across the way called them, and they were nervous, and they were all sitting outside in front with the fire department, breathing out of bags, okay? And I propped the door with the chair to let some airflow go in because we don't have any windows that open. And the fire department comes in, and I looked at the guys. I said, hey, I know there's like some gas going on here or whatever's going on. And, the office across the way is outside. They're kind of like teary-eyed, and they're breathing out of paper bags. And me and my office staff, we got work to do. Is it okay is it like safe that we work in here? And the fire department looks at me, starts laughing. He goes, yeah, you might get a little bit of a headache, but you guys are fine. So that's just the mentality we have here. We're kind of animals here. We're going to keep working. No gas leak is going to stop us. No construction out there is stopping this podcast today. Okay, guys? What are we talking? Deal season. Okay, so getting back on topic here about the deal season is just that prices start to reset themselves. I also get a lot of people asking me, like, do I keep my place on the market or pull it off, right? And I say to you, what type of place you got, right? You got a multi-million-dollar place in River North, the Gold Coast. Pull that bad boy off the market. It's deal season. Like, you're not going to get a good price for it. Just pull it off. Just go in the pockets, sit in the pockets, okay? And for everybody out there, you probably got 30 to 35% of the inventory sitting in the pockets right now. So if you're working with an agent, get on Zenlist. Shout out Zenlist. They gave us a great box at some event the other day. Thank you, Zenlist. But Zenlist or Private MLS or TAN, which is Top Agent Network, I call it like a dating site. It like matches you when your things come up. But like a lot of stuff goes in the pockets. So you get a high-end place, you go in the pockets. Listen, you got a 2-bed, 2-bath, $500,000 in Lincoln Park, washer, dryer, and unit, put it on the market. Put that bad boy on the market. So my next question is, am I still seeing multiple bids? I'll tell you, I had a client, relocating, really good guy. Probably doesn't listen to these podcasts, but great client. I like the guy a lot. He's cool. I get along. If I went out, I feel like we could be buddies. But he wanted a bid on a place, sight unseen, and he asked me, how far should I go? I said, well, generally speaking, these things go about $30,000 over ask price. It's a slower time of year. Let's go $26,000 over ask price. He ended up going $27,000 over ask price, as is free rent back. Waived his finance contingency, like literally gave everything. And there ended up being 5 offers, and we were the third of the highest offers. So there's 2 offers ahead of us. So guys, listen, when I talk about deal season, I know some agents out there are like, well, I'm crushing it. It's like, listen, I got the biggest market share in the city. I can talk about how awesome I am too. We're talking about the market as a whole. Let's not be prisoners of a moment. Let's not talk about like a good week or like how my one client got outbid. Like, yes, there's still stuff moving. And yes, Mr. Seller out there, I still think it's all relative, and if for the right place, I'm still going on the market. Because while a lot of people are coming off the market, and while some inventory is building, high quality, tier A, grade A, Wagyu, let's call it Wagyu inventory, right? The best of the best, A5, baby. Like, you're always going to get that price because it's just that hot, okay? But we also have to remember that this is a generalized podcast, okay? So generally speaking, I would need to know what the product is, and I could give you advice. But in certain cases, if I've been on since July and I haven't sold, I'm probably coming off the market. Now, play devil's advocate. Had a client that's like, should we come off the market? I'm like, let's wait till right before Thanksgiving. We've been on since July, and guess what? We just sold, and we got a decent, not a good offer, but, good enough to sell. Better than sitting on the market. So, everything is relative. What's the price difference in Q4 to Q1? Here's what it is, okay? Price difference that you can expect. Something comes on at $500,000, okay? That place could legitimately get bid up to $550,000, okay? It could also only go up to 525 or 530. But let's just say, generally speaking, like it goes up on average about 30,000 over ask price. So it could go to 530. Okay. Today, you might get that from 490 to 510. Okay. So let's call it like $20,000 to $25,000 difference, which in my opinion, I mean, I didn't grow up rich, so I think 25 G's a lot. Listen, if somebody walking down the street is like, yo, here, hey, you in that weird red suit, I'd be like, yeah. They're like, you want 25 grand? I don't know, but I'd be like, yeah, I'll take 25 G's. You know, it's fucking, I could do weird shit with $25,000, right? Even just to have. So like my point is like whether $25,000 is not a lot of money to you or it is, I mean, you know, money's different to everybody. I'm just saying that like that's about the money we're talking about in the lower end price game. We're talking above $1 million, like it could be as much as $100,000. Like I can't give duplex downs away right now. I can't give them away. So if you're a buyer who's thinking about buying and you want to buy a duplex down, I'll tell you right now, you can get a scorching deal on a duplex down right now. Like a duplex down that comes on the market at $1 million today, you could probably get for like $980. Okay. In the spring, you'll pay 1.1 for that. You know, duplex downs in the fall, there's just no market for them, right? Fall and holiday season, no market. Q1 hits, all the sellers throw in the towel. There's no duplex downs on the market, and everybody wants them, okay? Everybody. Buy now. Here's what I tell people, because here's the next question somebody's asked me. My lease isn't up until April or May, right? My lease is up April or May. I can't buy now. I'd say 75% of people I'm meeting right now is like, my lease is up until April or May, so I really want to target February. You know what I say to you? Here's what I'm telling you right now. I'm looking right at everybody in here. You and everybody else. You and the other 2.5 million people living downtown have that same lease, okay? So, again, I talked, earlier, the guy that's got a 20 on his ACT, got C's and D's at Eastern Illinois University. I don't know much, but I know when you have more demand, prices are going to go up. So if you and 2.5 million other people are on the same lease cycle, like, what's the cost savings to you, right? If you decide to buy now rather than, buy later. So let's just do an exercise. Let's say we go under contract December 1st, okay, on a duplex down that's asking $1 million and we get it for $980, okay? So we're at $980. That same duplex down, you buy in February for $1.1 million, okay? So you spend an extra $120,000, okay? Now you bought that in February, you go to April, lines up your lease right away, right? Like there's just no problem. But you go under contract in December and you close, let's say like end of January, which means you eat February, March, actually just 2 months of rent, right? So, because you got an April lease. And let's say you're spending $6,000 a month for rent. So that means that you ate $12,000. Okay, so you ate $12,000. So let's add $12,000 on top of the purchase price. Let's do the exercise. So we paid $980 in December, and we add $12,000 on because that's how much we have to eat for rent. Okay, so $980 plus 12 would be $992. Okay, right? Am I wrong? Right? Okay, I'm looking. He's not doing math as quick. But $992. Okay, so now I'm all in for $992. Now you paid 1.1 for that same property in the spring. So if we take 1.1 minus $992, that would be $108,000. I'm pretty sure. Okay, $108,000 is what you're saving. So is that more or less than saving money in your lease? And guys, I'm not joking. Like that could be the difference in the springtime. And you may say, no, man, I don't say it is exactly that. And here's the other thing I hate that I see my buyers do. And I'm calling buyers out because I'm trying to educate you on this. I'm really trying to educate you on this because this is a conversation I have with you. And I tell people this is going to happen. And then they don't believe me because they're like, dude, you're in sales. All you care about making money. I'm like, listen, like, I'm not sounding like a dick. Like I'm always going to succeed in sales because I want to educate my clients. I want to make sure that you are fully prepared. I'm only telling you to buy when you financially feel comfortable about buying. But if you care about a deal, if you are a deal seeker, or if you're somebody who wants to feel like they win, I cannot win in February, March, April, May, or June, okay? The win is getting the property. The win isn't saving money. So if you're money conscious, like the win is solely going to be like dealing with, like sacrificing. The win is like getting the better price now, okay? So, what we have to think about rather than later on, right? So like if we're looking at the fact that showings are going to go through the roof in the springtime compared to now, you would think that you're going to get a much better deal. So now let's look at another exercise, okay? I did this last year, and I'm going to do this again next year, okay? So last year in Q4, I had 100 showings total across my buyers and sellers, 100 total, okay? In Q1, we had 2,290 showings, okay? So 2,290 compared to 100. So again, it shows you what a difference in pricing you could get. So all I'm telling you out there is that you just have to prepare yourself is how much more would you rather save on your property compared to getting out of your lease early, subletting it, or eating your rent? Because I can promise you, you'll get a better price. And the other thing is like, let's say you have an April lease, okay, and you don't find anything in March. So then you renew your lease. And now you're back in the rental cycle again, right? Now you're back, just back in the cycle, you know? So it's like, it's just an endless, continuous loop that it's kind of like Groundhog Day. You just keep waking up and you're like, not sure it's going to be different. And then boom. It's like, this year is going to be different. Boom. It's like I tell a lot of my sellers who like their lease comes up in October and they're like, well, we couldn't get a lease, so we're just going to re-rent it. And I'm like, listen, you either do an 18-month lease or you just rip the Band-Aid off. Like, let it sit vacant for 3 months and just sell it. Like, or just take the loss. Like, at some point, this loop's got to end, okay? And I'm just trying to make sure people are educated on the prices. And another thing that drives me up the wall about deal season compared to this is, and here's a big one. I'm telling all my clients, and I think this is the tangent that was going on earlier, but it just slipped my mind. I forgot. Dude, you get older. Like, I'm 40 now. I'm going on 41. Like, I got wrinkles in my forehead and shit. You know what I mean? It's just depressing. But, like, it makes you forget things. But, like, my point is a big thing that buyers say to me, okay, in the springtime is like, well, Matt, let's look. Give me the comps, right? They're like, give me the comps. It's March. They're like, give me the comps. So I give them a comp. And then they're like, dude, like, this is asking, like, $750. The neighbor sold for $725 in October. Like, it's overpriced. I'm like, no. We can't look at October. We got to look at, like, the whole year of pricing. And then you're like, no, but, like, that just closed for $725 in October. I'm like, yeah, but remember in October and November when I told you didn't have the balls to buy because you thought the world was going to end in 25, so, like, you decided to wait till spring? Like, now you got to pay spring pricing. I say this in almost every podcast lately is that you cannot get fall pricing in the spring, and you can't get spring pricing in the fall. Real estate is like a stock. It trades at different rates at different times of years. I say this a million times. If you want to buy the stock when it hits the low, this is the time. If you want to buy that stock when it's at a high, buy in the spring. It doesn't matter to me when you buy, as long as you know where things stand. Last big thing to ask is like, what do I think about 2025? Okay, so this is a huge thing because we see, like I said earlier, we're seeing prices come down. So people are getting nervous. Oh my God, next year's going to end. You know, we just had the election, which we're going to be talking about in another podcast where like people are talking like, well, my guy girl didn't win, so the world's going to end, blah, 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 blah. The fall mentality, we're essentially creatures, okay? And it gets darker at what, like 4:30 now, sunset, 4:35-ish, right? And like in Chicago, it's like, I feel like it's overcast for the next like 4 months, okay? Like we may see the sun like once a week. So we're just, you know, there's been numerous studies, again, D students, but like I've read numerous times that sun gives you energy and like makes you happier. I think do you think that's true? Yeah. So, good old Bobby D here thinks it's true. So like, you know, like my point is like most people feel sun gives you energy and hope and happiness. And it's, you know, that's why they say it's sunshine state, but we're not that. We're the depression state. So like, you know, when we got overcast days, 4 to 7 days of the week, sun's going down at 4:30. It's coming up at like 7. Most of you guys probably don't wake up till 8, right? Like you're barely seeing any sun. You're more dreary, right? It's holiday season. Like you're just watching your paycheck go towards gifts. You're getting hammered 90% of the time because you're at a holiday party. So you're constantly like hungover, right? Or you're constantly just grumpy because like you're running around left and right. Your kids are going crazy. If you got kids, I mean, I don't know about you, but like my kids are already asking for Christmas gifts. These spoiled brats, right? These kids. I didn't get Christmas gifts when I was a kid. But these, you know, damn kids. Anyways, my point is that people are just like a little bit more depressed at this time of year. So they always think the worst, right? And they're like, 2025, that's it. It's going to be the end. I will put money on the table against anybody out there willing to bet me. We could put it on one of those sites so it's legal. But I think 25 is going to be the best year since 22. Stock market is just raging right now. You know, the Feds have announced they're going to continue to drop the interest rates. We are seeing inventory kind of come back on the market. You know, we're seeing a ton of different things happen that's going to make this market take off like a rocket ship. Mark my words. 25 will be as good as 22. And if you're out there and you want a deal, now's the time to buy. That's all I got for you guys. Stay tuned for our next podcast.